All right, we are recording. Welcome to tonight's BFF Tribe team call. Today's date is October 30th, and we're going to talk all about how to better align your business mainly around your unique style. And this has come at a head for me. Just in the last few months, I really think that my personal project and my personal endeavor of Project Sahara, as I've coined it, has really kind of stirred a lot within me, and I think it's just only going to better help everyone here. And a lot of this is just kind of tweaks that I've made and things that I'm learning in my own personal development. So I'm just kind of really passing it along. So I'm going to be sharing some slides here. I know I'm a visual, and I'm thinking that this is going to help you. So let me do share. Share. Here we go. All right, everybody can see this? Where it says better align your Beachbody coaching business by focusing on your style?
Yes.
Do you also see the little like thumbnails of our faces on the side?
Yep.
You do? Okay. I wasn't always sure. Okay. Now do you see a full screen?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So we are going to move along. All right. So before we are able to really align our business with our larger vision, and being able to have this, everyone calls it the flow. I'm in the flow. I'm really aligned. We have to kind of shake off the mentality of this cookie cutter approach. And if everybody, if you don't mind, I forgot to actually mute everyone. If you guys don't mind muting yourselves, sorry, just so there's no background noise. Thank you. Okay, so we must kind of shake off this mentality of this like cookie cutter approach. And here's where it gets tricky, especially with, network marketing, where it really consists of this idea of like, duplication and kind of using the systems that are already been proven to work. But guess what, guys? There are systems in place when it comes to franchises and even corporations. And I actually have a few friends who are, franchisee owners, and each of them do something a little bit different. And this is what we're talking about. Is yes, this business is about duplication, but it's a duplication of concepts and general systems. It's not identity theft, and it's not copy and paste. And that's kind of where, that can be where our Achilles heel lies. It's, thinking this duplication is literally copy paste, and we can fall in that trap. So we must shake off that mentality. And so as an entrepreneur, you guys are now a business owner, whether you're using this more as a part-time thing, or whether you see this kind of happening more for long-term growth and sustainability. Either way, for it to be successful, it's not about checkboxes. It's not about following something step by step or having these in the box methods that are generally kind of taught in school. This is about taking a system that has worked, but having it work for you and thinking outside of the box and being creative within that space. And a lot of times we get stuck, and we get stuck because we are not aligned with our vision. And my goal here tonight is to help start a dialogue within yourself, to help wake up your soul and to stir up what's within you. And by doing that, you are also going to have some ownership here, because I can only stir you up so much, but I have some guiding points here that can help stir you up. And the first is to study our company and our profession. Get so familiar with them that in the next year, you're able to talk about it in your sleep. Now, here's a caveat with that. There's a difference between company and profession and industry. And I've talked about this before in other calls. Our company is Beachbody. We are network marketing professionals, meaning that is our profession, aligned with a company called Team Beachbody. Team Beachbody is within the fitness and wellness industry. This is where it can get tricky because we are, unless you have certifications in fitness or nutrition, we can't play that role. That's walking a very dangerous line. So what I mean by studying our company is really learning about our company, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute. Okay, can you see me? Okay, what I'm talking about, guys, is really studying how did Team Beachbody even, why was it founded? Do you guys even know the history behind that? It's a really cool story. Knowing our products and different buckets of things that we offer outside of just a challenge pack. Now, again, here is where you need to be careful. Don't feel you need to know every little detail. That's when we get stuck in feeling like we need to know everything before we act. I'm not suggesting that, but I am suggesting having such a well-rounded knowledge of what we offer that you can talk through it and guide someone. And when the details are asked, you know where to find them. You know what I mean? And the other thing is our profession, and our profession is network marketing. And there is such a bad reputation because there's not enough education out there. And that's why I really love certain people like Eric Worre, who are really one of the leaders out there trying to educate people on our profession. He's been doing such a great job with that. And so studying our profession and studying our company, and our company also involves knowing about the business, going in the back office, learning not only about our products, but how we earn income, how we can better help our challengers, how we can better help our coaches. And that also goes along with the knowing our profession. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. All right. Oh, let me close that. And that's happening now. Oh my goodness, I'm just showing everything. All right, here we go. So I hope that helped. All right. The next goal that you must have is to basically do market. This is very important, guys. Do market research on yourself. Identify and build upon your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. There's two places that I want you guys to visit. You're going to have this recorded, but write it down, giftstest.com or Kolbe.com. Yeah, I'm going to not share. Maybe this is going to be annoying, but I kind of want you to see my face. I'm going to have to work out the kinks on this for future calls. But guys, this was a game changer. This is going to help you not be cookie cutter. This is going to help you avoid the step-by-step thing. Yes, this is duplicatable. You take what's worked, but again, you make it work for you. And this is how you're going to find out what works for you, how you work, how you operate, what your talents are, what your gifts are at, and that's what you focus on. Don't focus on what you should be or what that person's doing good and blah, 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 blah. That's when the comparison games start happening. That's when you lose your mark on your vision, and it just goes downhill from there. And actually, this was recommended by one of my mentors, Sandy Krakowski, who I absolutely love. She said that's your number one duty is market research on yourself. Now, the giftstest.com, there is a spiritual component to that. But don't worry about that. If that's not your thing. But that test is free. Now, if you really, really, really are serious about this and you have it in your budget and are willing to invest in it, Kolbe.com is a paid test. It's the Kolbe A index score. I've taken that and actually I looked at it again last week. It's definitely worth every penny. What the Colby Index does, it basically, and I actually paid extra to look at the careers one. And I swear I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. It was totally reassuring. Okay. So what the Colby score does, it doesn't talk about your hard skills necessarily. And by hard skills, I mean the things that you learn and you refine, like, better communication, or learning how to run a webinar, or how to run a blog, different things like that, like hard skills, technical skills, and, things that you learn, corporate America and so forth. This is a little bit more about your natural, like innate, like you were born with this. This is how you are wired. This is things you cannot change, essentially. And I think oftentimes we try to change the things we can't, instead of embracing them and just going with them. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay. So it breaks down different scores, or different like buckets of the way you're wired. And they're called indexes because it's kind of research based, and that's why it's called that. It's broken down in a fact finder, your follow through, your quick start, meaning like how quick you're able, starting things, your implement, and those are the 4 areas. And then it kind of explains them. And you click on the little button and it goes through an audio. And this is like English lady, or I think she's English. I don't know. She's got a nice accent. I like her voice. And she kind of describes what each of them mean. And there's text to go along with it. So if you're visual, if you also like to listen along, it's perfect. And I really like it because deeper in the report, it breaks down, like, for instance, for me, when I'm free to use my strengths, I need to start problem solving by brainstorming first. Totally me. Next, I need to kind of review the data. Then I look for ways to fit that project into a system. And then I kind of visualize, or I daydream the results. Totally how I operate. It also says that I need to commit, but to very little. How long have I been saying that? And I need to target my top priorities. I'm like, have you been in my house? Like, where are the cameras? That I need to seize the moment when ideas surface. And I don't need to wait or debate with myself. I mean, basically trusting my gut. After working intensely to meet deadlines, I need to take time off to do nothing. Because I tend to really skyrocket on my adrenaline and then kind of like crash, and then spike my adrenaline and then crash. So I need to kind of work on that. Also, I tend to work better with short-term goals. So true. And I also need to be okay with working a little bit on the fly, because that's how I operate better. If I'm one of those people, like for instance, if you're preparing for like a presentation, some people need every little thing like kind of like mapped out. If I were to do that and over practice, when I go present, I will like, oh, I didn't practice it like that. Oh, I missed this word. And then I wouldn't be connected with the presentation. And I've done that before. However, so I'm reading this and I'm thinking back of certain circumstances that happened. But then when I've presented, like I had to do a presentation at church, and it was like, kind of like a mind body retreat. And I literally did that presentation. I'm not recommending you do it the day before always, but I did do it the day before, and everyone was so thankful. Like, and I was in my vibe, in my zone. And what I did is I had an outline of how I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't over prepare, because if I over prepare, I'm going to bomb it. I need to be prepared, and I need to know what I'm going to say, kind of like what I did tonight. But if I over prepare, I'm not going to be connected. I'm going to be thinking about what I should have said, and I left out this word, and oh my gosh. And then I wouldn't be, connecting with the audience or the information that I'm trying to present. But maybe you need to be a little bit more prepared than me. Everyone's a little bit different. So I really like this Colby score. You're going to have, if you do decide to do it, read it. Once you get the report, it may not make sense right away. I'm not going to lie. Put it down. A few days later, go visit it again and keep visiting again. It's going to really, really help you. Okay. Back to sharing my screen. And see, like for some people, this impromptu stuff may freak them out. I just roll with it. And that's how I'm better prepared. So you got to know yourself. And this is why it's so important to do this. Okay. So the next goal that I'm putting on you guys is to study what others are doing. But here's the key. Studying people outside of our industry. Don't look in fitness and health anymore. Don't. You're going to start becoming copycats of them. Choose people who you admire within the social media realm. Maybe 2 to 3 every month or per quarter. I think 2 to 3 per month for me is a little overwhelming. So that's why for me per quarter works. But maybe for you, you're going to need something a little bit more fresh every month to keep it, top of mind and to keep your energy and your evaluations a little fresh. You got to figure what works for you. But studying other people and what they're doing, what they're posting about, what headlines are they using? When do they post? How are they using the platforms that you want to start dominating? How are they using it? How many times are they posting? What hashtags are they using? I bet you they're not really using ones that are specific to their industry. So if you do that, that's going to really provide you some really cool insights, because if we're going to only focus within our industry, we're going to start sounding all the same. Okay. I'm not going to talk about this too much because we have had separate calls on this, but all of the other goals are going to come together, because when you have a bigger vision, that's when everything works together. Okay. Having a bigger vision is your driver. Your why should make you cry. This is, beyond Success Club. Success Club is a way to have a goal to help 3 people a month. And it's a way to kind of build consistency in your business, but that is not sustainable. That is not sustainable for your business. If you want to make this something long-term, obviously, imagine a Starbucks only sold 3 lattes a day. Come on. I'm just saying, or the equivalent of what 3, challenge packs are. You know what I mean? And on the same token, do you only really want to help 3 people a month? Again, it depends what your goal is. If your goal is just very, side and kind of hobby, that's a great goal. But if your goal is something more long-term, like this is what I do as my profession full-time, it's not sustainable and it's not going to really be fulfilling. You know what I mean? So your vision really has to be big, because that's what's going to be your driver on the days that are hard. That's going to be your driver when you're communicating, you're talking with people. You're going to sound more in the flow because you're thinking about your larger vision. You're not thinking whether or not they purchase from you is not going to bother you. But when you're not aligned with your vision, you're like scared to death. Or like, oh, are they going to be part of my challenge? Oh, they're not going to be part of my challenge. And then you think it's about you. And then you're not really thinking about that person and where they're at, because you think it has to do with you. Got to get out of the box. And that's going to be the book that we all need to read for the new year. Another topic. Okay, back to sharing my screen. Almost done. Okay, so this is the source. So your vision is a source of your message. A few weeks back, we all spent time and we really identified who our ideal customer and coach can be, and speaking to that person directly. But guys, your vision and this goes way beyond money. And I said that before. This is a source of your message, and this is where the majority of your energy it needs to be really kind of meditated on, and doing the previous goals. Really studying our profession, studying yourself and people outside of our industry. This is going to help you really be in sync with your vision, and even reshaping your vision in a way, because once you start really identifying yourself a little bit more, this is not only going to be more refined, it's going to get clearer. Okay. Okay, so how does this impact your power hour? Again, this is not going to be about the how. Like the specific mechanics behind the how. This is a little bit more how this is going to impact, but not how you do your power hour. Okay, so the prescribed power hour looks like this. on a daily basis, you should be adding new friends, starting new conversations, inviting people either to a challenge group or the coaching opportunity, following up with conversations that you've had and tracking it. Obviously, some of the other vitals need to be happening, like your drinking or Shakeology or other, nutritionals, and, working out, reading your personal development, and, engaging with your challenge, your clients, stuff like that. Okay. But as far as like any kind of like new business, so to speak, this would be it. And the numbers are going to differ depending if you're a new coach or you're looking to kind of take it to the next level. That's why I did not have any numbers tied to this, because a lot of times you hear 333 or 353, whatever the case, another is, 10 invites a day and 5 new ads and 20 new conversations. I mean, there's all over the board. But again, it goes back to your goal, not what everyone else is doing. So I left that blank. But this is what's the prescribed or the recommended power hour. You do this every single day. Now, I had this light bulb moment last month, or we're still in October, so this month. And it was when I was really, really engaged in inviting people to my last sneak peek. I was so into it. I was flowing. The conversations were so natural. I felt proud and excited to invite rather than scared. And what if they reject me? Or what if this isn't for them? You can't prejudge. I'm proud of what I do. I'm proud of what we do. And I felt excited. And I was like, okay, obviously I'm more aligned with my vision. So aside from that, what shifted for me? And what shifted for me is that I literally focused on, when I was doing that, I was focusing on just inviting to my sneak peek that day. Nothing else. I didn't add. I didn't do follow-ups. I didn't do any of the other stuff. I had a focus. And then I've been talking to my business life coach, and we've been talking about the idea of splitting the month. And I think I've mentioned this to you guys before, where you have your first 2 weeks where you only focus on inviting people to a sneak peek or the coaching opportunity. And the last 2 weeks of the month, you focus a little bit more on focusing on challenge groups. But then I started really, when I had this light bulb moment, I'm like, but wait, there's more. What if, and then I thought about Eric Worre. And like I mentioned him earlier, he is a network marketing professional that's now really educating people around the industry, or the profession rather. And he has this program, and it's called Recruit 20 People in 30 Days. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I thought about that when I was in my groove, and then I was thinking about how I felt when I was in my zone and in the flow. And so there's got to be a better way to do this, but for now this works. So Eric Worre, 20 people in 30 days. So basically this is a monthly massive focus. So whether you're focusing on, inviting people to the business, or focusing on just challenge groups, this method or this system can work for either one, right? It's just you kind of break up the month in thirds. The first 10 days you're contacting, presenting, and inviting. So that's forming and having conversations and inviting. The second 10 days is all follow-ups. And the third 10 days is probably, more follow-ups, and then just having your enrollments and your registrations either to a challenge group or to coaching. Now, obviously, there's going to be some crossover. So the second 10 days, you may still be doing some presenting and inviting and so forth. But that's pretty much what it looks like. And so when I was in my flow, and I'm like, this is what works for me. I'm like, why am I kind of forcing this prescribed way to do my power hour? Because I feel like if I break it up, I'm not really in the flow, and I'm just doing it to say I'm doing it. I'm not really connecting with people the way that I want to connect, So then I thought, well, wait, okay, why don't, and I just created this. Let me move this real quick. Okay, I gotta figure out a better way to like toggle between screens. Okay, so this is kind of more of a weekly and daily massive focus. So again, this is me kind of doing a business focus the first 2 weeks and then challenge focus the last 2 weeks. And so Mondays is going to be massive abs. I'll talk about these follow-ups in a second. Then on Tuesdays, it's just massive connects. I'm just forming and connecting, just having conversations with people, thanking them, happy birthdays, just really, and I mean, happy birthdays every day, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm just really connecting. I don't care where it's going to lead. I'm just in the moment and being genuine. Here is where maybe some conversations led. And then maybe there have been people that I just really want to invite. I'm just focusing Wednesday and Thursday. Now, again, I'm doing this because of the way my numbers are. But maybe yours could be 2 days of massive connects and 1 day of invites. You know what I mean? But these days are just purely on inviting. Fridays, cleaning house, meaning I'm, deleting emails, making sure I've, responded to everyone, going through text, just kind of cleaning house and getting orderly. And then Friday and Saturday, I'm just pre-planning my content, what I want to talk about for the next week. Sundays is mainly off with some weekly planning. So that's kind of a rough draft. This has kind of happened in October, but not exactly. I feel like the way that I've been naturally operating has kind of created this idea, right? So I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to tell you I've done it exactly like this, because this is how I've now envisioned it's going to work for me, based off of the way that I've been approaching my October, if that makes sense. So what works for you, really, guys, only you know. Only you know. I realized this month that this prescribed way, and again, it's not wrong. It works for a lot of people. But I've noticed it may have worked for me, but I'm not in the flow. I'm not connecting with it because I feel like it's just a check mark. Like I got to get through it. And then I'm not really feeling like I'm connecting with people genuinely. Some days I am, and some days forced. I don't like that feeling. It's like anything else. When you don't really feel like doing something and then you start doing something and then you get in the flow and then you're like, I don't want to stop. That's how I operate. And so I feel like when I have those focused days, once I'm really in the flow, I'm in the groove and it's just flowing. If I'm breaking it up, my flow, my thought process, everything just kind of messes up. But again, that's me. And I've realized this last month, that's not necessarily what works best for me. Maybe for you, the Eric Worre approach, that's why I put it in there, would work better for you. Maybe it's just literally a weekly focus. 1 week you're just doing one activity. 1 week you're just doing another activity. The third week you're just doing one activity. Maybe you take a blend, kind of like my blend, but even more of a blend. I don't know. But what I am going to be doing moving forward is I am not going to shove this daily power hour down any coach's throat, because it may not work for them. The same activities are important. So that method, remember, about duplication is important, but the how behind it and the way that works for you is different. Those same activities are very important, and they do need to be done consistently. But how you do them consistently depends on you and your style. And so I gave you guys 3 different options tonight for you to consider. And again, even those options can be tweaked as you start using them, right? So this is I don't know. I'm excited about this because I feel like for our tribe, this is going to be a big game changer, because this gives you the freedom to not feel that you have to do it just like this or else. And then when you don't do it like that, you're starting to beat yourself up. And then you're like, it doesn't work for me, because you're forcing something that may not work for you. Again, the activities are important. The consistency behind the activities, the numbers are really based on your individual goals. That's why I did not put any numbers on there. But figuring out the kind of system and how you execute that is really off of you and how you work, which why I'm really going to recommend you guys do the Colby score if it's in the budget. And if it's not this month, do it as soon as you can, because it's going to give you some insights on how you operate. And because I'm, more on the fly, and I'm a little bit more where I need to be in the flow and I need to prioritize, I feel like me having too many priorities, which is so many things in one day in that power hour, plus I'm trying to do content, plus I'm trying to build my blog. It's just too much of different things every day for me to really have a focus. So that wasn't working for me. And again, each season or each level of your business may influence which method you use. So again, don't feel like when you choose one, you're even locked into that, because maybe initially what most coaches do is going to work for you. But maybe after a while, when you're putting more things on your plate, you need to shift. So again, don't even think that when you choose one, that's the only one you're ever going to use ever, and that's the end of the story. You know what I mean? So that was basically it. We're literally down to a minute. It's going to hang up on us. So instead of us looking awkward when it just closes on us within that 40 minutes, I'm just going to formally say thank you for your time. I really hope that this was insightful. And I really encourage all of you to jump on our team page for any questions, comments, or concerns that you have around what was presented tonight. And then by tomorrow night, I will go live on our team page and answer all your questions. Guys, I hope this was good. Was it good?
Yes, thank you.
You're so welcome. I love you guys. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.